What you are watching is two men burglarizing a home in Jackson County, Indiana. They take countless valuables, including jewelry, cash, and several guns. What they don't realize is that the entire burglary is being live streamed through a series of hidden security cameras, and the owner of the home is currently watching them. Not only that, but the owner knew exactly who one of them was. A friend of the family, 29-year-old Stephen White. After reporting this to the police, officers went straight to Stephen's residence to confront him.
You're Stephen? All right, so,
Do you have any idea why we're here today?
well, they said that y'all got me on camera last night burglarizing the place.
Well, I got a picture here
Can I see it?
already. There's the picture. And that's just one of the 5 that they sent us. So listen, I just want you to know.
Exhibit A is a probable cause affidavit filed in the Circuit Court of Jackson County, Indiana. The document states that on October 14, 2023, 2 males entered a residence on State Road 135 and removed several firearms, jewelry, and a lockbox containing cash. The suspects were identified through motion-activated surveillance. One of them was known to the homeowner. What the affidavit does not state is that the homeowner had already buried one husband, had watched another man die under nearly identical circumstances, and had been texting her daughter about the taste of antifreeze. The document is a burglary report. It is also an accidental confession. Think of it as a house of cards built on a fault line. You pull one card, one burglary, and the entire floor gives way. That is what happened here. A property crime cracked open a sealed world where insurance fraud was the least serious offense on the table. The men who broke into that house expected to steal guns. Instead, they stole the lid off a coffin, and what was inside would send 2 families into a tailspin, force detectives to exhume a body in all but name, and reveal a pact between a mother and a daughter that could only end one way. Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Police Bodycam Legal Analysis, because we don't just cover the story. We follow the evidence. The homeowner, Marsha Lynn Allen, called 911 and reported the burglary. She told dispatchers that Stephen White, a family friend, had violated her trust. She knew his face. She had the footage. She wanted him arrested. What she could not say, is that she had orchestrated the entire event months earlier as an insurance scam, then turned on her own co-conspirators when the payout never materialized. The burglary was real. So was the setup. But the setup was not designed to solve a murder. It was designed to create an alibi. And alibis, when they are built on paper, have a way of catching fire.
According to Stephen, after Harold died, Marsha didn't see a dime of that money. It went straight to Harold's brothers instead. So, looking for another way to profit from his death, Marsha came up with an elaborate scheme. She asked Stephen to break into her home and steal some of Harold's possessions. This way, she could report the burglary and receive a payout from her insurance. She promised him a $3,000 payment, but she didn't tell him that she planted hidden cameras all around her house. Since Stephen just admitted to being a part of this burglary conspiracy, he was promptly arrested and taken back to the station. What started as a simple break-in was now a potential homicide investigation, and the person who reported the burglary was now the main suspect. But before getting...
When officers went to Stephen White's residence, they expected a thief. They found a man with nothing left to lose. He did not deny the burglary. He did not ask for a lawyer. Instead, he said the words that would reframe this entire investigation. This woman is a murderer.
With his back against the wall, Stephen dropped some bombshell information about the homeowner that reported him, 48-year-old Marsha Lynn Allen.
This woman's a psychopath, and I'm telling you guys that right now. This woman is a f***ing murderer, okay?
This statement caught the officers completely off guard, so they asked Stephen for more details. He said that Marsha killed her husband, Harold Allen, by poisoning him because she wanted his life insurance payout.
Marsha went into the kitchen and made a root beer float with whipped cream and sprinkles on top of it. And she poured something out of a bottle into there. He drank it. I guess like an hour and a half later, he started saying, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm drunk. I got to go to bed. I don't feel right," but he only had
That
that
is a
one drink,
quote from the body
apparently,
camera
like maybe
footage.
2 beers.
What
Marsha done killed her
follows is
husband.
public
However,
record. He said that Marsha killed her husband, Harold Allen, by poisoning him because she wanted his life insurance payout. He described a root beer float, whipped cream, sprinkles, and something poured from a bottle. A dessert disguised as a goodnight gesture. Harold drank it, said he felt drunk, went to bed, and never woke up. Here is the first moral refrain. The evidence was already eating. The detectives did what their training required. They paused. They did not escalate. They recorded the statement, arrested Stephen for burglary, and then began pulling at the thread Stephen had handed them. Harold Allen's death certificate listed the cause of death as pericarditis and other cardiac issues. Natural causes. The doctors signed it. The funeral home processed it. The insurance company prepared the payout. But Stephen's claim matched a pattern the system had already sealed shut. Harold had been sick for months. He had recovered from multiple mysterious episodes. And then, after a single root beer float, he was dead. That is the ticking clock moment. If this was true, if Harold Allen was poisoned in his own living room, then how many other people had eaten at that table, drunk from that kitchen, trusted that family, and walked away with the same undiagnosed symptoms? This was no longer a burglary investigation. This was a biological crime scene hidden inside a house with a welcome mat. The question is not whether one man was murdered. The question is whether anyone else was already in the ground before the first 911 call was made. The evidence was already eating. Detectives invited Marsha to the station for a voluntary interview. She arrived with a smile and a story. She denied everything. She said Stephen was a liar. She said she never offered him $3,000. She said she never asked anyone to steal the guns. And when asked about the murder accusation, she said the words that would eventually be played in every courtroom for the rest of this case. "I did not murder my husband." Then she added a performative twist. "I tried to kill my husband." She meant to say she could not have tried, that she never tried. But the sentence slipped out and landed like a glass vial breaking on tile. The detective did not flinch. He asked for her phone.
What he's saying is basically that you said that you would give him $3,000 to go in the house and take the guns, and have him take the guns and take them back to his place.
He's a liar.
Mm-hmm.
I did not do that.
Okay.
I don't have his number. I don't have his cell phone number. He's lying.
I'll tell you what else he said. He accused you of murdering your husband.
I did not murder my husband.
Okay. Something to the effect of some kind of, I don't know, some kind of seeds or something, and basically poisoning his drink.
That would show me a toxicology report if that happened.
I believe you.
I
I
cannot believe you said I tried to kill my husband.
The detective then obtained Marsha's consent to download her phone data. Before the detective could take her phone, she insisted on deleting some embarrassing images of herself.
Of all your items.
Marsha agreed to let them download it. But first, she wanted to delete some embarrassing images. She said she did not want them to see her in her underwear. What she actually did, in real time, on camera, while sitting across from a homicide detective, was attempt to delete the digital archive of a murder conspiracy.
Before the detective could take her phone, she insisted on deleting some embarrassing images of herself.
Of all your
I
items.
see the videos. You guys don't need to see me get dressed.
Oh, the videos of your, okay.
Yeah. I just want to make sure you don't see me in my underwear or anything.
All right.
Yeah.
The investigators were now able to start going through Marsha's texts, emails, web searches, and most importantly, her deleted files. From this, they determined that Marsha was attempting to delete evidence during her interview, right in front of the detective.
I just want to make sure you don't see me in my underwear or anything.
Looking through this,
The forensic extraction tool captured the deletions. Every message she tried to bury rose back to the surface like a body in a shallow grave. The text thread between Marsha and her daughter, Ashley Jones, read like a shopping list for the end of a life. Pong pong seeds, foxglove seeds, water hemlock, ethylene glycol. Each one ordered online. Each one discussed in casual, almost gleeful detail. Oh, let me know when it's gone. That is a direct quote from Ashley. The messages referred to Harold not by name but as Eat. A demonic entity. A problem to be cleansed. An obstacle to be removed.
deleted data, they discovered that there wasn't just one poisoning, but multiple over the course of several months. These attempts on Harold's life were documented through online orders for various poisonous substances, as well as thousands of text messages. All of these messages were between her and her 29-year-old daughter, Ashley Jones. Ashley and Marsha first tried using pong pong seeds, a natural toxin from Southeast Asia. They ground them up, put them in some homemade brownies, and fed them to Harold. Ashley texted her mother, "How's it going, lol?" Marsha then sent back a picture of Harold and a half-eaten brownie. Ashley replied, "Ooh, let me know when it's gone, lol." Fortunately for Harold, this attempt on his life was unsuccessful. After a few days of bathroom emergencies and a fever,
The evidence was already eating. So detectives pulled the phone records and the delivery confirmations. They found a package containing ethylene glycol delivered to the Allen residence on December 19, 2022. The day before Harold died. Ashley texted her mother, "The mail is here." Marsha texted back about root beer floats. They went to Walmart. They bought mini cans of root beer. That night, Harold drank the float. The next morning, he was gone. The digital trail was not ambiguous. It was not speculative. It was a confession written in delivery confirmations and dessert preferences.
weren't working, so they put in an order for ethylene glycol, aka antifreeze. Suddenly, Steven's story doesn't sound so bizarre. On December 19th, 2022, the day before Harold's death, a package containing ethylene glycol was delivered to the Allen household. Ashley texted Marsha, "The mail is here." The following day, Marsha and Ashley discussed dessert. "He's all in for root beer floats." "Okie dokie, I'll tell the kids that's what we're doing for dessert tonight. Root beer floats." Marsha then went to Walmart and sent Ashley a photo of a case of mini cans of root beer. Harold died the next morning. For the next few days, Ashley and Marsha pretended to be sad while secretly texting each other about selling off Harold's belongings and how close they were getting to Harold.
And then the case shattered again. Detectives discovered that Ashley's first husband, Tyson Jones, had died in 2019 under nearly identical circumstances. A young man, recently come into an inheritance, dead of a supposed cardiac failure at the age of 24. His body was cremated quickly. No autopsy. No toxicology. No questions answered. Marsha's texts with Ashley referenced Tyson's weight in connection with the failed pong-pong seed attempt on Harold. Previously, Ty was only 120. That line implied that Harold's larger body mass had saved him from the first dose. It also implied that Tyson had been dosed before, and that the mother and daughter had been doing this for years, refining their method, adjusting their ratios, learning from each body they dropped.
What happened to Ashley's, her husband? So
I guess he had a heart attack. I'm not sure.
The husband who Marsha is referring to is Tyson Jones, who passed away from a supposed cardiac failure in 2019, eerily similar to how Harold passed. According to Tyerson's uncle, William Jones, Tyson had recently come into an inheritance from his late grandfather.
She had his body cremated, quick, fast, and in a hurry, so before the family could even ask for an autopsy or to have anything done about it.
William says Ashley told them he died from alcohol poisoning, but he always felt there was more to the story.
Ashley or Marsha had set it up to where they poisoned him within the liquor. You can fool me, but you can't fool the Almighty.
The detectives also found a
question
reference
now
to Tyson
was
in
not
Marsha's
whether
text with
Ashley was involved.
When Harold ate the brownie,
The question was how many bodies were buried in this family's shadow. The burglary had opened one door. That door now opened onto a hallway with no visible end. Detectives executed a search warrant on the Allen residence. Marsha answered the door and played confused. They showed her the tracking number for the ethylene glycol. She claimed ignorance. She said it was Christmas shopping. She said everyone ate the root beer floats. She said no one else got sick. The detective allowed her to talk. He allowed her to dig, and then he sent Harold's preserved blood and heart tissue samples to the crime lab. They tested positive for ethylene glycol. The poison was in his system when he died. The poison his own wife had ordered. The poison his own stepdaughter had helped deliver. The poison that a burglary had accidentally exposed. Marsha never faced the results. That night, her parents called for a welfare check. She was found dead in her bedroom. Beside her body was a note. It read, "I did not kill my husband. You win. Ashley." The suicide was not a confession. It was a verdict, a mother's final message. Passed to the daughter, who had already spent years helping her build a graveyard.
However, detectives never got the chance to confront Marsha with these test results because later that night, Marsha's parents called 911 asking for a welfare check on their daughter. They had been trying to get in touch with her all night but hadn't gotten a response. When deputies knocked on Marsha's door themselves, she didn't answer for them either.
There's something wrong.
The deputies got the green light to enter the home. When they got to the end of the hallway, they turned the corner and discovered Marsha dead in her bedroom. Beside her body, they found a piece of paper that said, "I did not kill my husband. You win, Ashley." While
Ashley was arrested and extradited from Missouri. In the interview room, she played the victim. She said her mother was the mastermind. She said her mother used her phone. She said she was manipulated. But the detectives had the text messages. They had the delivery confirmations. They had the testimony of Ashley's cellmate, who later reported that Ashley had admitted to killing Tyson Jones with insulin. The cellmate also said Ashley had a prayer list. It was not a prayer list. It was a hit list. The targets included Stephen White, the burglar who had triggered the entire collapse, and Ashley's ex-fiancée, Ashley Neves, who later told detectives about the grinding of seeds, the brownies, the sudden sicknesses. The pattern repeated.
her trial, her cellmate Anita Easley reported to a corrections officer that Ashley had admitted to killing not only Harold, but her late husband, Tyson Jones, as well.
She used insulin on him. Her mother
She used insulin on him to what?
killed him,
Okay.
and she got life insurance.
But she definitely mentioned that she
In August
killed
of
him and that
2025,
she got away with
Ashley
it.
Jones
But this
accepted
wasn't
a plea
all.
deal.
Apparently, Ashley
Murder
gave
charges
Anita
were
a
dropped.
prayer list.
She
This
pleaded
prayer
guilty
list was
to
actually a
attempted
hit
murder
list,
and
which Ashley was
conspiracy to
attempting to
commit
smuggle
murder.
out of prison.
50 years. She will be eligible for release in 2075. She has never been charged with the murder of Tyson Jones. That case remains open, a file folder growing heavier with every confession that leaks from prison walls. So here is what remains. A burglary report filed over stolen guns became the evidentiary foundation for a double homicide investigation. A homeowner who called 911 to report a friend became the prime suspect in her husband's poisoning. A daughter who claimed ignorance became the architect of a multi-year poisoning campaign. And a young man named Tyson Jones, cremated before anyone could ask questions, may yet become the third victim in a family project that began long before Harold Allen ever drank that root beer float. The document is public. The probable cause affidavit is available for anyone to read. The question for you, in the comments below, is this: if Stephen White had never broken into that house, would Harold Allen's death still be listed as natural causes? And if you want to dig further, pull the affidavit. Read the text messages. Then tell me what you think the next file should be called. Like, share, and subscribe to Police Bodycam Legal Analysis. And turn on notifications. Because the next time someone tells you a burglary is just a burglary, you'll know better. The evidence is already eating.